All right, so welcome everyone. Thank you for logging on and attending this evening's program. My name is Matt Schumann. I am on the programming team here at Cary Library. Before we begin, just a few things to note. Please let me know in the chat if you're having any technical issues. I can try to resolve them for you. And if you have any questions or comments, please use the Q&A button and we will address those at the end. This program is made possible by the generous donors to the Cary Library Foundation. I'd like to now introduce Ashley Rooney. Ashley is the past president of the Lexington Field and Garden Club and an author of many books. She has brought numerous local gardening experts to the library in the past year. And tonight we'll be brought virtually to some nurseries in the area. So please welcome Ashley.
Thank you, Matt. Matter of fact, I wanted to go traveling. Now I got my vaccine and I'm far from the only person who's gotten a vaccine. I figured a lot of us wanted to get out of town and see other nurseries and see what was out there. So I asked Guy and Elaine, what about their favorite nurseries? They were always talking about their favorite nurseries to me and suggested we film it and you can see a nice trip that you could take. Pack a picnic, take a bottle of wine, take some money, take a basket to bring home all your plants, and you can go shopping. So Guy, why don't you start us on your day?
Well, we headed north. We took the northern route. We went up to Kennebunkport to Snug Harbor. That was our first stop. So maybe we'll just start with a video from there.
Okay. Oops, it's not showing.
1 second, sorry, I don't know.
Well, while you're fixing that.
To get to Snug Harbor, we went up 95 and got off the first main exit after the toll, which I think is Route 1. And we went up Route 1, and just after you go by the main diner on the right, and you're going down a grade, Route 9 goes off to the right towards Kennebunkport, and so you take a right on that, and you go up that section of Route 9, and you'll come to Snug Harbor on the left-hand side before you get to the lower village of Kennebunkport.
And you told me you're going to go to what, 3 states today?
We went to 3 nurseries.
Three
yeah,
nurseries in one day.
Okay. Why don't we start with this?
Good morning, I'm Guy Doran, and Ashley Rooney has asked
Up and down.
to take a little trip to some of our favorite nurseries and garden centers. So today we thought we'd take a northern route along the coast, just come up to Kennebunkport, Maine, to Snug Harbor. It's one of our favorite little places to go, and I think once we show you around and explain it to you, it will be a spot that no matter when you go to Maine, you'll always make a point of stopping in to Snug Harbor on the way home. Tony's the owner. He's over at the growing greenhouse right now. We're at the retail area. We found this about 20 years ago, and we stop in here at least once or twice every single year. And it's evolved so that it's really a place to stop year-round, especially at all the holidays. He and his tremendous crew do a great job now for all the holidays. One thing about this place is that it's a great source for indoor topiaries. We're in one of the houses now that they work year-round at producing these wonderful topiaries. A lot of the myrtles that they stock, as well as the cypress, and we love them. Lavenders, great sizes for the house, and wonderful quality. So why don't we stop and take a look at some of the other greenhouses right now.
Do you want to go on to photos or another video?
I might as well just go through the 3 videos. So.
Okay. 1 second.
I like the rooster crowing in the background.
I
Did
have,
you see the doves under the bench?
Yes, I did. They were
I
just
have-
loose in there, huh?
He's got a beautiful dove coat outside, big.
Guy, I have 5 more videos for Snug Harbor.
Oh, okay.
All right, so play through all 5.
Yeah, might as well.
Okay. 1 second.
What do you look to buy up there?
Well, he actually built a new growing area at another farm that he owns, and they were going to have we were there on a Thursday, and their open house to show off this new growing area was going to be Saturday, and we just didn't get over there to see it. He has annuals and perennials and nursery stock, mostly annuals and perennials as far as outdoor gardening is concerned. And I'm sure that it's unusual stuff and high quality. He's a good grower. And we always find something to buy there and not forced to buy it. I mean, there's always something unusual and interesting, and he's the type of guy that would have something that is not just a proven winner item.
Okay,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
Hi, so here we are in another house at Tony's, Snug Harbor, and this one is one of my favorite ones, and it's primarily all succulents, more indoor succulents than the outdoor sedum type and hens and chicks. And he has a great collection that he keeps and maintains for himself, which is unbelievable variety-wise. And then he offers a tremendous variety for sale and individual specimens, or he has small collections that he makes in some of his containers. So let's stop and then just jump over to the other side and see what's over there.
That what I
So,
pointed to behind me and said that it was his collection, I didn't realize, but he had moved his personal collection out of there, and that middle bench was all full of larger specimens for sale. So it really was impressive.
Yeah, succulents are very popular these days. Mainly because they're easy, I think.
He's been on these well before everybody else got
repotted
onto them.
up. Here's a little section that's just been potted a little while ago. Wonderful variety of colors and textures. Just outstanding. You don't see this type of collection too often around New England. So this is great. Now we're going to stop and jump over to a third greenhouse. So here we are in another house that has some of Tony's great collections of ferns and begonias. Just outstanding. Great variety of ferns, indoor ferns primarily. Colors, textures, sizes, just outstanding. I love this house. And the begonias, not too big a collection right now, probably more towards the fall and for the winter, but indoor begonias that we actually at times will use some of these outside in some of our shade pots at home. So great, get some great ideas here. So now we're going to pop up and look at some of Tony's pets and then go to his
gift shop, which has been evolving over the last several years into something very, very special. Okay, so we're going to take a quick look at some of Tony's pets. Here's a peacock that's always strutting around, and I see another one coming out. And oh, look at this one. Oh, another one. They know they're being filmed. And then a little further down, we have a collection of different hens and roosters. I'm sure you've heard them all calling to us as you've been walking around. I have no idea what kind of a bird this is, but it's amazing. Those stripes, those black stripes on this white back, and these little cuties. They probably figured they're gonna get fed. Oh, look at these.
Yeah. It'd be a great place to take kids.
Look at the fuzzy ones down the end here. A lot of times
Here we
they're
are
walking around
at the gift
outside.
shop, which is an old house connected with a wonderful old barn, several rooms, and the variety and quality of gifts here is just outstanding. High quality, wonderful craftsmanship, great ideas for at the holidays, and just unsurpassed. A lot of it is locally crafted in Maine or New England. Just again, it's once you visit here once, you will always make a point to stop whenever you're in Maine, and I just can't stress enough what the quality is, and I hope you enjoy it. You'll always come back.
And so you went from there to which one
We
next?
came south and stopped in Greenland, New Hampshire at Rolling Green Nurseries, which is a small family operation, but not small in the sense of acreage, but it's not like a Mahoney's. It's not a massive place, but they do a lot of their own growing, very good quality, very experienced staff, and we just usually find things that aren't always grown and offered at other places, not just the Proven Winner series, that they will have other items that varieties that you don't see everywhere.
Okay. Okay. And you have a video of that?
I think so.
Hi, we're at stop number 2. We're in Greenland, New Hampshire at Rolling Green Nurseries. And Rick and his wife have put together just a fabulous place. Again, love coming here. You can see behind me the store full of supplies and actually a very rapid checkout system that they have. And then kind of pan around, a lot of annuals this display will get larger and larger as we get into the season. We go down, way down in there are all their perennials, which they grow themselves. More annuals, vegetables, and perennials in this area. Shade perennials over under that structure, which will be covered when it gets really sunny and hot. Rose bushes, garden supplies, and as you can see, just a yard full of cars as well. I think we'll hop down past this greenhouse.
It was a windy day.
It certainly was a windy day. That's, you never know what the video is going to pick up. Rolling Green. Sounds like you should be down in Kentucky with a name like that.
I'm looking at a wonderful display of dwarf Japanese maples all over on the left. And then as we go in, great selection of plant material, well grown, sourced, well sourced. To our right, nice selection of fruit trees. As we go down, there's more conifers. Just a great selection and a great supply, and very knowledgeable staff as far as planting.
And that's what you want, is a knowledgeable staff and someone who can say, this is the kind of tomato you really want.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. And the staff that's out in the nursery section is good.
Oh, here you go again.
In the greenhouse, where the more tender annuals and indoor plants are kept right now because of the time of year, but very well grown. Great selection of hanging material, more coming every day, more being brought up from the growing area. Trust me, the quality is exceptional, prices are fair, and again, I can't stress the quality help that's here. Now, they're only open 5 days a week. They're closed on Sunday and Monday, and that's out of respect to their health, that they keep good health from year to year, because they give them 2 days off a week. Nobody has to work a full weekend, and it pays off in the end by keeping good health. So even though you might want to come on a Sunday, just change your plans, come when they're open, and it's well worth it.
That's unusual. I mean, a lot of places might close 1 day a week, but to close one weekend day as well. And that was a decision made by Rick and his wife to keep good health. That they didn't either force their help to work both weekend days or sacrifice good help on one of the days. So it's paid off for them. It really has.
Yeah, it's nice to keep your health, that's for sure.
Do you want me to go to the Noonan's videos?
Yeah, we might as well.
One moment. Zoom is being tricky tonight.
Hi, we're on our third stop today. We're at Noonan's Garden Center in Georgetown, owned by Steve Flynn, who's an exceptional good grower and businessman. And as you can see, this is a wonderful, wonderful place. It's good size, but it's very accessible, very easy to shop. And the selection right now, what's today, the 8th of May, and they have just a wonderful assortment of everything. The things that shouldn't be out yet, such as tomatoes.
You want me to go behind you?
Yeah,
Is that
thanks.
what that means?
Such as tomatoes aren't out yet because it's just a little early. They'll be out next week, as well as some of the other more tender annuals and herbs. Wonderful, wonderful selection. So why don't we stop here, and we're going to go down and take a look at the nursery stock area. Here we are in back of the big display greenhouse, and This is one of the main perennial areas. I'm just so impressed with the quality and the variety. Nothing's overgrown, everything is ready. And as we sweep around, we're in some of the nursery stock area, and we're gonna walk down. When I was here last week, one thing that I was impressed with was that a lot of the nursery stock is from Monrovia and Isley on the west coast, and Isley is probably the primary source for dwarf conifers and Japanese maples and dwarf Jap maples, and the selection here is just outstanding. One thing about Steve, he's not afraid to bring in good collection and selection from those nurseries, and it isn't just one or two of each item. There's numbers here, so if you like something and you need several, he has them. The prices, judging by the prices, they're fair price. I'm impressed. And I think if you're looking for nursery stock, a shrub or a tree, this is one place you might come just to get a feel for what there is and go from there. I just, on the way out, I spotted this. I like whoever does the buying on the statuary, bird baths, and the cement planters, you can see that it's nice, clean material, nice style, nothing gaudy, silly.
You just have a couple of questions about if you want to just repeat the name of the nursery for that one, the third one.
Noonan's.
How about spelling it?
I can type it in the chat.
N-O-O.
N-U-N-A-N.
N-U-N-A-N.
Okay, so it's like Nunnans. Okay, got it.
In Georgetown,
And
right
that's,
off of 95. It's easy to get to.
and that's where you and Elaine take people to get shrubs and so forth, right?
It's one of the places, yes.
Okay.
In fact, I mean, we've bought a few there in past years, and we've got a couple on order. They had one that we wanted, but we wanted two, and they've got another truck coming in from the West Coast, and we're on that for next week, I think. So they will work with you. They have stuff coming in all the time, and like I said before, you know, there are nurseries locally here that have stuff from the same source, but they just have one or two of this and that. And Steve realizes that this high quality stuff it sells, and he brings in numbers, which is good. So
Yeah. But no, those two planters that you talked about, they are from the West Coast?
those two, yes, Monrovia and Isley. I pronounce it Isley. I don't know. Other people pronounce it some other way. Isley is probably the foremost source for dwarf conifers in the country as far as variety and sizes.
Okay.
When we were in business, we brought stuff in from them as well. I recommend doing it in the spring. I know that a lot of garden centers and nurseries say that fall is a great time to plant, and it could very well be, but I think if you're bringing material in or buying material from the West Coast, Oregon and Washington, I like to plant it in the spring and let it acclimate before our first winter. That's just my personal feeling.
I can see why. Now, let me go through. We have several questions about this, the different nurseries. Snug Harbor is Snug Harbor, and it is in Snug Harbor, Maine.
No, it's in Kennebunkport.
Kennebunkport, okay. And then Rolling Green is in Greenfield, New Hampshire.
Greenland. Greenland.
Greenland, okay. And Noonan's is in Georgetown. Now, hopefully,
Right.
where is Georgetown? Georgetown is in Massachusetts.
Yes, it's
Okay.
in the Rowley area, right off of 95.
Right. It's a nice area. It's a pretty area up there.
Yeah,
You can go and do some very nice restaurants out that way and make it a full day of it and so forth, if you're not picnicking like I was talking about. And when I went on my nursery trip, we ended up in the rain. So we picnicked in the car, it was a totally different kind of feeling.
so let's see your trip.
Oh, no, I gotta save it for another program because it's another panelist gave it to me after you and I had already decided you were gonna do this, and I didn't want to do 2 nursery trips in 1 year. But my trip, I will tell you, was out to Amherst, New Hampshire.
Oh, Amherst, Massachusetts.
And no, Amherst, Massachusetts. And there were 3 nurseries that we went to. And what I was amazed at was the variety and the prices. The prices were amazing. Peter picked up 6 packs of tomatoes for $2.95.
Wow.
And it was Jet Star, which is, he thought we could only get here at Wilson's at a lot more. And there it was out there, and he could get as many as he wanted. So there were a lot of things I ended up buying for the church's garden and our own garden. And I was very impressed, as were the friends we were with. And it was interesting. It's fun going somewhere different. We all know Mahoney's and McHugh's, which I think is great, and Wilson's, and they're wonderful, and they're right here. We can run across and go get things anytime we need them. But to go out and explore and see what a Noonan's may have, or one of my places in Amherst, this is a whole new world opening up, and seeing what other people are interested in and what they do. Because a lot of these nurseries seem to specialize. Like your first guy in Snug Harbor with his succulents. I mean, that's a big specialty these days.
It is. And the topiaries, you used to, one of the main sources for indoor topiaries was Alan Haskell, and he's gone.
Yeah.
And, but I understand that Avant Gardens down on the South Shore has them as well. But Tony does a good job.
Does
So the area that the 3 nurseries you went to, did you see primarily proven winner material?
No,
You didn't?
no. Very little of it, matter of fact.
Really?
Yeah,
Well, that's good.
yeah. Because it's other people coming in. Matter of fact, the one nursery that we liked the most, and that was the least fancy, she was growing her own stuff. And you could see it in the different hoop houses, the different sizes of what's going on and so forth. So that impressed me too. And it all looked pretty healthy.
Annuals?
Annuals and perennials. Flowers and vegetables. No, wasn't big on shrubs, but I wasn't looking for that.
Yeah.
And while we stayed at an inn out in Amherst, B&B, and they kept pushing nurseries in Hadley. And we were in, what was the name of that town? Whately, which looks spelled like Watley, but it's Whately, in Amherst. So they kept saying, oh no, the nurseries you need to go to are in Hadley. And I thought, oh, okay. So there's a lot out there, but you're in the Connecticut River Valley, and that's a very fertile area. You can see why people would be specializing out there.
You didn't go by Norse Farms, which is the main source for strawberries, blueberries, asparagus.
We did.
You did?
Yeah, I remember seeing that name. And I should say right now, since you're talking about strawberries and blueberries, the garden club is having a small time plant sale, which is driving me nuts because most of it's going to be in my driveway. And if people are interested, they have to go in the Lexington Field and Garden website as of Friday night. the listing of most plants will be there. And then you order by email and you can pick them up in 2 days. But we have raspberry bushes and a blueberry bush, which I was surprised, and rhubarb, in addition to all these flowers. And it's amazing. I have something like 20 hellebores, and hosta, etc. So it's going to be a big one.
That's this week?
Yeah. Yes, people order next Monday, Tuesday, then they pick it up a week from this Friday. But this is the time for planting. You know, as you said, you just were over at Hartwell and you bought stuff, soil. I was up there today and listening to him. He said there's so much demand for the soil, what he's doing. People need to get it, you know, but last year they ran out. There's a tremendous demand up there. So I'd get it. If you want anything, I'd go now. Sue Polanski from Boston wants to know, do you know how I could find any older glass greenhouses in operation?
Meaning looking to buy the glass greenhouse or places that have glass greenhouses?
I think places that have glass greenhouses. Correct me if I'm wrong, Sue, please. One place we went to in Amherst was a glass greenhouse. Do you know of any, Guy?
That's a good question. The older type glass greenhouses.
Where that is, I have to put into Google, Sue.
I'll have to think about that.
Yeah. Anyway, so while we still have a couple of minutes, why don't you give your recommendations for vegetables? What should people buy if they're looking to plant tomatoes?
Well, you mentioned one of them in connection with Peter. Jetstar and Supersonic are still two of my favorites.
Okay.
There are varieties from Johnny's that I don't think the garden centers grow. They're more commercial varieties, but I've found that they're very good. Estiva was my favorite when I worked out at Carlisle. Big Boy and is still good. It was a variety that came out to compete with Harris when they came out with Jetstar. It's still a good variety. I still don't feel that a lot of the heirloom varieties are what I would want to grow. I don't think they're disease resistant enough. I don't think they produce enough.
Remember, to interrupt you, I remember the garden club went on a tour of Wilson's, and whoever was giving the tour was one of the Wilson brothers. He said it was too expensive to grow them and you didn't get enough of the product, which is
That's right. And when you had Russ Morash on, he said the same thing.
Yeah.
But there's still, you know, you go into garden centers and you still see all these heirloom varieties. I don't know. I mean, they are interesting. They're different shapes and colors, and I'm sure that many of them have very nice flavor and maybe even more flavor than some of the newer varieties. That's one thing about Jetstar and Supersonic. They one reason why I like them is that they have that acidy flavor, but some of the newer varieties don't have as much acid, and because of that, the Ball Canning Company, they put out Ball canning jars. You know, they're aware of that, and they have you add acid to your canning tomatoes because the tomatoes themselves don't have it. So, you know, it's people today, the younger generation tend to like sweeter tomatoes, I guess.
Like they like their drinks.
Well, we won't go there.
We won't go there though. Matter of fact, the woman, Sue, who was asking about the greenhouse, she's looking for places that have a glass greenhouse in operation. She grew up in greenhouse operation and she is an artist looking for that. And the greenhouses around here, we did have glass greenhouses in Lexington, but they've almost all been knocked down by the developers.
Oh, how about the place down off of Woburn Street that sort of backs onto,
Yeah, Cup Brothers.
yeah, okay. I think
Yeah, I think they still have some glass houses.
Are they-
they don't throw stones though.
No.
They what?
And Jean Rosenberg says Lyman House in Waltham is a glass greenhouse.
Yes, on some of the old estates. They're still there, correct.
So the other thing I should think, let's emphasize today, when should you plant your tomatoes? Are you planning to plant next week? I think
Yep.
Yep.
I bought a few today. As a matter of fact, my strawberries from North Farm came today and I popped them right in
Oh, wow.
raised
Okay.
beds. Raspberries came last week and I put those in.
Okay. And do you think I could put my geraniums outside now?
Looking at the weather for the next week and 10 days on, yes, I do. I think we are out of the frost threat. You might have cold rains, but I think we're okay.
Okay. Well, then everybody can get started
You know,
early.
My beets and carrots are up, my peas are up, but I won't sow beans, cukes, or squashes yet. The ground's still a little too cold, and in order to get a good germination, I'm gonna wait probably another 10 days at least on some of those tender things.
Yeah, the real.
Tomatoes outside, yeah, I think they're okay. Basil, I think it would get a hard start if we had a 40-degree rain. I'd wait on that until I did some of the warmer things.
Okay. It's a good point.
But lettuces and all your cole crops, all your brassicas, the cabbage and broccoli and all those, they'll be fine.
No, they're fine.
Yeah.
They definitely can go out. Sue, I have one more greenhouse for you. Linden Tree Farm in Lincoln has a greenhouse. So now you've got 3. I don't know where Linden Tree Farm in Lincoln, you'll have to look that up.
Yeah, I've never heard of that.
No, you're fine. The person who gave that, if you want to write where address, that would help a little bit on that one. And as so for the
I don't know what happened to Alan Haskell's place down in New Bedford. He had some very old greenhouses, and they may still be there and used by somebody else, but I'm not sure.
Okay. Linden Tree Farm in Lincoln is on 10 Concord Road. Thank you very much for giving us that address. So in Lincoln, and and someone says, oh, this is Sue herself, the artist. She said, my dad had 14 acres of greenhouses.
Where?
Where was it? And what was he growing?
Do you want me to unmute or allow?
Unmute her.
Yeah.
Unmute her.
Let's see, 1 second.
Or unmute everybody.
We're the mode that we're in. I just have to do it in a different way. So Sue Polanski, you're allowed to talk right now. You should be able to unmute.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yeah, my dad's business was called Octave Lamech and Company. We were in New Jersey. He was the largest grower of poinsettias on the East Coast. So we grew plants for Christmas, Easter, and Mother's Day.
Yep.
And when I was young, it was all coal-fired and clay pots, very, very labor intensive, and I was part of that crew.
So at that time, were the poinsettias single stemmed with 1 flower per stem?
Yes, that was sort of the beginning of my memory, but and we started them off in peat pots.
Yep.
And then would transplant them.
When was this? What time period?
Well, let's see, I was born in 58.
Okay,
So he was in business until, let me think, 1980 maybe was the last. The greenhouses aren't there any longer. And I have, just incredible memories of all the whitewashing and, everything about, the inside of greenhouses. And I would like to recapture that as an artist. And I've done one picture about, from my memories, and which my parents happened to see, and they were very critical of it because my dad was already criticizing, those aren't the way steam returns are, and I never grew flowers that looked like that. And but in the end, they turned out they really liked it.
Well,
I'd love to talk to you, offline more.
Okay, well, if I somehow can, through this process, get your email or whatever, I'd love to chat.
Okay, and Sue, I have one more place for you. Millbrook Farm in Concord has greenhouses she can draw, according to Jean Rosenberg.
That was Millbrook Farm.
Yeah, they don't, they're plastic houses now. I think their glass houses are gone. But that's why I let me think about it. And that's why I'll talk to you offline. I haven't, I'm 73 and I'm still on the same street. Grew up with the greenhouses and it's in my blood. I go back further than that, really.
And you've watched them disappear over the years too.
Yeah, I tore them down myself.
Yeah. It's sad. It's really sad when you see them go.
I always thought that would make a great book for somebody to capture the last of the old glass greenhouses, because they really had a very unique character to them.
Well,
And
there is a fellow actually by the name of Mark Ward. He lives in Lunenburg now, I believe. And he builds glass greenhouses for estates and private people. And he still has greenhouses that he's torn down and stockpiled to build for people. And he maintains some of the estate greenhouses and private glass greenhouses around here.
That might be the person for you to talk to, Sue.
It definitely is.
okay, thank you very much. I won't take any more of your time, but Guy, I'll be in touch with you, after.
Yes.
Well, that was interesting. I don't know, I should tell my publisher, somebody suggested a book on greenhouses, but the thing is, who would buy it? That's what the publisher is going to say. How many people are going to buy that book, Ashley? Back to flowers and vegetables and gardening. What other questions do we have tonight? Because we are going to be quiet for a while. Our next program is not until Wednesday, June 23rd, and then we go weekly. And we're on that program, we're talking about vegetables and herbs that you didn't even know that could be grown here in Lexington. I've met a group of people from far away, and they are going to show us all sorts of things, including some recipes. It sounds fascinating to me.
Have you put that program together?
Yes, with the help of these brilliant young women. I just think Lexington has changed and we've become so diverse in our population. It would be nice to include people from other lands and not just the Yankees. And when
you do have a
well, and I see people come eat stuff out of my church garden, and I think, oh, I didn't know you could eat that. It's a whole new world out there. What?
Actually, there's someone who has their hand raised. Peter Staker, I believe. Do you want me to elevate them to be able to talk?
Where's it? I'm on the hand raise. I don't have the hand raise.
It might be just on my end because I'm the host.
I have
it would be the same thing like the person who I just elevated to talk.
Okay, go ahead. I don't have that.
All right, Peter, you can unmute yourself and ask your question.
Peter. You still
Or,
muted. Peter?
Maybe it was a mistake. Peter, feel free to, I'm going to remove the permission, but feel free to type in the chat if you are there.
Somebody wants to know the name of the nursery and the gift shop that you profiled earlier. I think it was in Kennebunk.
Kennebunkport on Route 9, just off of Route 1. Snug Harbor, SNUG Harbor. Maybe it's my pronunciation. Harbor.
Harbor. I think I know what state you come from, Harbor. Yes, and Kennebunkport is a grand place to go visit anyway. Okay,
So
so
when are you doing this next, your tour? When are you doing your tour?
it's not for me to do it, it's someone else's. I've already gone on it. She will do it next year, I hope. If we do a gardening series next year, we would do it then. Because I already had you in, you're trying to vary the gardening program, so there's not all exactly alike. And so, but
Is
after,
one on unusual vegetables all set, or are you open to some suggestions?
why don't you give me your suggestions now? Because those women are probably all set. And they're talking about things like bitter melon.
Yeah. Well, afterwards, I'll give you a couple of suggestions, or a suggestion of somebody to talk to that has been involved with third world women that are in this area and have helped them set up farming programs.
Oh, that'd be fascinating.
Yeah, it is. And this woman that I actually, if you've heard of Pete and Jen out in Lincoln at Codman Farm, Jen has been very active in this program for several years.
I would definitely be interested.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you want to give them a kind of a leg up on what they're going to do. There are a lot of new programs and people and things out there as our world has changed a lot in this last year. I was just asked to do flowers for Memorial Day for the Civil War Cemetery over at Monroe here in Lexington. And I went to Food Link, which collects leftover food, leftover flowers from restaurants, schools, and so forth, and redistributes them. And because I'm working for a nonprofit, the town here, they will give me the flowers that we need for those graves.
That's great.
Oh, I got to give a big plus for Food Link, and they're a big outfit in Arlington, and they're always looking for new sources of food and more volunteers, of course. Everybody needs more volunteers. It's an interesting new world, and as we keep moving through it and finding new vegetables and new flowers and new things to do. And I don't see any more questions. So I would wish everybody a very good evening. Stay healthy. If you're interested in the Lexington Field and Garden Sale, as I said, it would be on our website, which is Lex Garden Club.org. As of Friday night, and we'll go from there. And I thank you, Guy, for once more time entertaining us and telling us where to go and where to have fun and where to find good plants.
My pleasure.
Okay. And yes, I want the hints for the next one. Okay. Everybody be good. Bye.
Thank you, Ashley. Thank you, Guy. And thank you everyone for coming.